So another touchdown there, and even though we're still just here in the third quarter, kind of hard now to see them giving up this lead.
And this is just an offense that's imposing its will right now. You name it, they're able to do it. If you're the play caller, whatever you want to select is there. You want to run it, you want to throw it, pick a play, any play. They're rocking and rolling right now.
They're going to try and run. And make them 4 for 4 now on two-point conversions as he'll take this one in for the score.
I guess when you're hot, I mean, I would just go ahead and take the extra point and move on, but apparently they've got something to prove. Almost feels like something was said this week, and they wanted to make sure that they laid it on them in this game.
And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25. So here are the Bears now as they get set for their first possession of the second half. And here we are almost through 3 quarters of play, and this passing game still has not really found any kind of rhythm.
Put it mildly, because they're not even over 100 yards yet. And in today's NFL, where it's a pass-first league, that is quite surprising. Not many teams patient enough to stick with the run. Everybody wants to advance the ball through the air. They've got to get their timing back.
To throw on 2nd and 10. Fields. And his throw here's incomplete.
This defense has passed its first 2 tests by forcing back-to-back incompletions. They know that there's probably another throw coming on 3rd down. Let's see if they decide to force the issue by sending people on a blitz.
And he's going to be ridden out of bounds down inside the 25. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a first down. Final minute now of the third quarter. Now a first down throw, Fields. And his throw is incomplete.
You know they wanted, you know they expected. They needed him to be sharp coming out after the half. Unfortunately, he's missed his first 3 throws. I wonder if he got out late and missed his warm-up time.
The whole team did come out a little bit later than usual. I don't know, maybe there's something to that.
It must have been a heck of a halftime speech.
Yeah, maybe just trying to rally the troops back from this deficit.
Another attempt, another incompletion, and when I look at the scoreboard and where we are in this game, it comes to mind that they have to start getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers. Throw it to the guys that maybe can take a short pass and turn it into a long gain or make people miss downfield. They've got to have points, and the guys who can put the ball in the end zone, they're the ones that need to touch the ball.
Santos' kick is up and through, and they're back within 3 scores as it's now a 22-point game. Maybe a little bit of an anxious moment there as that ball got closer and closer, but it does curl in.
Yeah, actually did a little bit of a slow dance there with the left upright, didn't it? But had just enough space, as you said, for it to curl in.
A solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And now you've got the clock winding down here in the third quarter. You're 3 scores to the good. What's your approach on this drive?
Too early to fully commit to playing the clock game. Yet at the same time, you're also not going pell-mell like you would in 2-minute offense. This is what NFL offenses call 4-minute football. Take the clock out of the game a little bit, wind it down, but at the same time, keep advancing the ball down the field.
Just 1 more quarter remains in the season-long race for the Lombardi Trophy here at Super Bowl 57 from Glendale. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. It'll wind up being a huge loss on the play. And that's going to bring up a second and about a mile here. On the jet sweep, here comes Jefferson. Powers through him. Oh, he's got a little daylight. And he'll get it inside the 40 to the 39. They don't need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Let's see if they do it anyway. They're going to try the jet sweep on 3rd and long. Oh, that's just not fair, and now room to run. And he will reach the 8-yard line before going out. Well, for a play that didn't look like much at the snap, that jet sweep turned into a big play in a hurry.
And how about how they ran the play? Because they obviously caught the defense out of position and not expecting that one, and that turned into a nice chunk of yardage. But how about the execution?
And he will score. Touchdown, Vikings.
Justin Jefferson.
His second touchdown of this Super Bowl.
And the Vikings are starting to pour it on the game's biggest stage. They are running away with this Super Bowl.
And now once again, they'll line up to go for 2. They're going to keep it on the ground. And they're a perfect 5 for 5 now on 2-point conversions as he is in to get them 2 more.
I think this is just going to be a function of the times we live in now. Very similar to the bat flip in baseball. Everyone's got to start to get comfortable with this. But to me, this is just rubbing it in. You got a big lead. Go ahead and take the extra point. One thing to keep in mind, though, karma's still out there. And sometimes it has a way of catching up with you.
On the return, it's Tristan Ebner from his end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20.
So the Bears with the football here as we welcome you back. At the line, prepping for their next drive, the Bears offense.
Well, we said it at halftime that they would need a nearly perfect second half to erase that deficit that they were facing, CD. But unfortunately, the second half has pretty much been a carbon copy of the first.
Yeah, that early lead was almost insurmountable the way their opponent was playing. And, partner, they do have some good news, though. This one is getting close to being over, and they can try and hit the reset button starting tomorrow.
Eluding the pressure right. And he's taken down. Back at his own 7.
And Daniil Hunter, he's the one who gets in there and brings him down to the ground. So now following the sack, Fields and the Bears looking at 3rd down and long.
Now on 3rd down, that pass knocked down in the backfield and incomplete. Here comes the Bears punter now. As the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And it's fielded at the 34. A big kick there. We'll call it 56 yards on the punt.
And it will be Vikings ball, 1st and 10. Minnesota's offense takes over possession. And they are trying to play it cool down on the sidelines, but they know that they are very close now to wrapping this thing up and letting the celebration begin. A Super Bowl title within reach now as they try to polish this thing off.
And a nice gain of 21 yards.
An excellent run there coming from out wide.
And we used to consider these jet sweeps to be gadget plays or something a little bit unusual, right? But now most teams have some version of this play in their playbook. And I think it's a lot because of the receivers that are being developed nowadays. These guys look like running backs even though they're playing out on the perimeter.
2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12. The Vikings going to signal for the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this.
Behind the chain, 2nd and 12. On the jet sweep, here comes Jefferson.
And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. And one of the whistles for a timeout. So they'll stop the clock here in a game that's been decided in the closing seconds. It's a gain of 16, and the Vikings have the 1st down as well. Running the jet sweep, this is Thielen with it. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. And they just took a timeout with 2 seconds to go. This one obviously decided. Not sure they needed to take it, but we'll take it with them. Throwing here, Cousins. And this will be caught. We'll forget taking the knee. Some late gamesmanship here as they throw for a late touchdown.
Boy, he has been fun to watch throwing the football in this one. It's certainly not fun for that defense, though, Charles. Now up to 4 touchdown passes in